The fresh value meal of the day, just $5.25 every day of the week. Subway, eat fresh. For a limited time only, prices and participation may vary. Additional charge for extras plus tax when applicable. Excludes premium and supreme sub. See store for details. Okay, let's begin.
Ready? And now,
So are you ready?
back to the music. Let's do it.
Okay, turn it on.
Welcome to Big Z Country, Z107.5.
You've got a lock on your heart, it's chained in the dark. Somehow you lost the key. You say you tried everything to get love back again, but baby, you ain't tried me. Bet I could break on through. If you want me to, tell me what it takes to put a smile on your face, leave your lonely days behind. I can take it from there, get you floating on air. Girl, if you just give me a sign that you want me to. Do you want me to? My heart's skipping like a stone on the water. Tell me, what have I gotta do to make you want that too? The way I feel couldn't fall any farther. Help me, what have I gotta do to make you want that, to make you want that, to make you want that too? Out of all the million things that I might dream for, I can only think of one. And it's me and you sailing into the blue underneath the golden sun. All I want is you. Do you want me to? My heart's skipping like a stone on the water. Tell me, what have I gotta do to make you want that too? The way I feel couldn't fall any farther. Help me, what have I gotta do to make you want that, to make you want that, to make you want that too? My heart's skipping like a stone on the water. Tell me, what have I gotta do to make you want that too? The way I feel couldn't fall any farther. Help me, what have I gotta do to make you want that, to make you want that, to make you want that too?
This is Big Z Country, Z107.5. Big Z Country, Z107.5 is KXKZ Ruston, West Monroe.
Well, it's about that time on Z107.5 for Southern Outdoors on your radio dial. It ain't just hunting, it's a way of life, from them Louisiana swamps to them skyscraping pines. Talking about bass, bucks, ducks, squirrels, turkeys, and hogs, Gulf Coast fishing and gigging bullfrogs. We talk about it all. It's about that time for Southern outdoors. It's a way of life for the backwoods country folks. From the deer stand to the duck blind, here in Sportsman's Paradise. It's Southern Outdoors on Z1075.
Here's the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Show with your hosts, Brandy Watson and Todd Causey.
Welcome to Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors on Z107.5. I'm your host, Brandy Watson. And
I'm the other host, Todd Causey, over here.
And we also have Mr. Don Gilman. I was going to let you pronounce it. He is with the Louisiana Sportsman Alliance. And we also have Mr. Mike Martin from Big 3 Hunting Club. Y'all crank up them radios. Y'all download that Red Peach radio app on your Android or iPhone free. Or you go to www.z1075fm.com and you turn it up. Because we fixing to put the waders on and we fixing to get deep tonight talking about this Weyerhaeuser, running dogs on Weyerhaeuser leases. So we're going to get to it. Now, Mr. Don,
yes.
You've been involved in this and dog hunting rights for quite a while. And you're, like I said earlier, you're with Louisiana Sportsman Alliance. Yes. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, the Louisiana Sportsman's Alliance is about 7 years old. It got started as a result of the National U.S. Forest Service trying to shut down deer dog hunting on the Kisatchie National Forest. And for 4 or 5 or 6 years, the Louisiana Sportsman's Alliance worked with the Forest Service trying to convince them that deer dog hunting was not harmful to the forest, to the people that used it, to the Forest Service, or to the government. Ultimately, they made a decision to ban deer hunting. And so we filed a suit. We lost that suit. We are now in an appeal in the Fifth Circuit, and we would expect probably a decision from the Fifth Circuit before next deer season. So we are concerned as an organization, Louisiana Sportsman's Alliance, concerned as an organization that anytime anyone attacks one segment of hunting, it's just going to be a matter of time before the next segment of hunting falls, whatever that is.
And that's like I said last week on the show, y'all were listening, it's going to snowball. It's going to turn from one thing to another. And everyone, we have fans all across the country and other continents. It's not just hunting, it's our way of life. It's our way of life. It's our heritage. And that's what we're trying to preserve. And that's what we're going to fight for. We've got to stand up and we've got to fight for this. Because if we don't, we're going to wake up one fine morning, and it's all going to be taken away from us.
You're exactly right. And we've got to be so careful as hunters not to attack our fellow hunters. And that's what we tend to see more of right now. But the anti-hunters are standing over there on the side. They're just kind of licking their lips and liking this, that one hunting group attacks another hunting group, and we take each other out because we don't want to share the resource. And I'm here to tell you that we as hunters have got to take care of hunting in all forms. It's about our families, it's about our friends, it's about our neighbors, and it's the tradition and culture of Louisiana to have hunting. And hunting with dogs has been around since before statehood. And people have grown up enjoying hearing dogs run, whether it's fox, deer, coyotes, coon, whatever. It's just become an acceptable cultural tradition for hunting in Louisiana.
That's exactly right. And you're talking about me and Brandy here on Southern Outdoors. We don't run deer with dogs, but we hog hunt, and we use dogs for that. And that's one reason this is a topic on our show. We don't run deer dogs, but we're trying to help out our fellow hunters who do have dog hunting clubs, and do what we can, to preserve that right. Because if they get a little bit of that, they take that away. The next thing you know, they're gonna take away hog hunting with dogs.
Like the old-fashioned saying, give an inch to take a mile.
Mm-hmm. And you get, like you said, all the hunters have to come together, no matter what, whether you're strictly a bow hunter or you're strictly a dog hunter. When they're attacking any of our hunting rights, we all have to come together as a group and fight with unity to keep our heritage and keep our sport alive.
I agree with that, and that's why we have, as an organization, have really tried to take a two-prong attack to what's happened at the Kisatchie, and we want to share these experiences with the hunting clubs up here in their controversy here with Weyerhaeuser. We're looking at federal legislation. We're looking at state legislation. We're also, as I said, we're involved in the courts. So we're trying to hit it from both sides. But mainly, we would like to just sit down and visit with people that continue to attack hunting, hunters attacking hunting, and talk about these things. That if there are some complaints or problems or whatever, we can work through them as hunters. Mm-hmm. We don't need to let this get into the courts because it gets all blown out of proportion and things don't make sense, and nobody wins in that. Everybody walks away with hurt feelings, and we don't need to have that. And I'm afraid that's where we're headed with Weyerhaeuser.
Well, it's just like the hunting club I'm in. It's mainly a still hunting club. So when two hunters have issues about stand placements or things like that, they go to the board members, and the board members talk to the president, and the president calls both of those members and say, "Look, y'all sit down, work out the problem, whatever the problem is, work it out. If y'all can't figure out a solution to the problem, then the board will step in and help." That's what we all need to do as hunters. We need to get together and work out a solution with Weyerhaeuser without it ever reaching the courts.
You're listening to Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors on Z107.5. We're going to take you to your Nomies Tech Tip, and we'll be back with Mr. Don, Mr. Mike, Todd, myself, and John when we come back after this.
Here's another Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Tech Tip, brought to you by Nomies Pawn and Gun in Jonesboro.
Come to the biggest little store around, Nomies Pawn and Gun in Jonesboro, Louisiana. Diamonds, jewelry, guns, big screen TVs, tools, and a whole lot more. Purchase a scope, Nomies will mount it free of charge. Free bore sightings, 0% down and no interest on 12 months, same as cash. Nomies has been in business for 30 years. Nomies Pawn and Guns, where you get everything from diamonds to double barrels. 418 Allen Avenue in Jonesboro, Louisiana. As 3D archery season comes to a close this coming month, it's time to start getting your bows ready for the upcoming bow season. I know a lot of 3D shooters use their hunting bows for 3D archery as well, so there is in some cases a transformation that needs to take place. Time to start taking all of your 3D tournament equipment off your bow and get your hunting equipment installed. Some of us are do-it-yourselfers, and some of us take their bows to their favorite archery shop to have it done. Either way is fine. But there are a few things you need to keep in mind, like having that string checked out. Make sure it is in good shape. You don't want to have to replace it mid-season. You are going to be sighting in your broadheads and hunting sights anyway, so what better time to have that string replaced. Also, be sure to eliminate all of those little squeaks that has been bugging you all through the season. You don't want a minor squeak to spook off that trophy buck you have finally gotten into bow range. For us bow hunters, there's a lot of preparation that goes into just getting your bow ready, as well as getting yourself tuned in for that perfect shot. I know if everyone else is like me, bow season can't get here soon enough, and I've already started getting my stands and my bows ready. So don't wait till the last minute. Go ahead and get these things done before time runs out. Good luck. Tech Tip has been brought to you by Nomies Pawn and Gun, located in Jonesboro, Louisiana, where you can get everything from diamonds to double barrels. So go by and see Sonny and tell him Southern Outdoors sent you.
Now back to the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Show on Z107.5. It's not just hunting, it's a way of life.
And welcome back to Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors on Z107.5. I'm your host, Brandy Watson. We are blessed to be in the station tonight with Mr. Don
Gomer.
Gomer. I'm going to get it right eventually. Mr. Mike. Also, we have Mike Martin. I got that one.
That's one.
And Todd. We got Toddler over there, as we call him. And then we got John over here. So we're talking about running these dogs on warehouse or property.
That's exactly right. We had a good show about it last week. We had Miss Jennifer Edwards in with us with Backwoods Catahoula Kennels, who has been helping with Louisiana Sportsmen's Alliance, and had a good show last week, I felt like. And we got y'all in here trying to talk more about this and make the public aware of what's actually happening. There's a lot of hunters out there who probably really don't know what's going on, and so we're trying to get the word out there, trying to give our support to the dog hunters out there who run deer with dogs. And Mr. Mike here with Big 3 Hunting Club, he's going to give us some thoughts as a dog running club of how it's really going to affect y'all's club.
Well, basically, Big 3 has been a dog hunting club for 30, well, probably 40-something years, and I've had a lot of memories and lifelong friendships that have been cultivated there. We have about 75 to 7,800 acres of Weyerhaeuser property and about 2,500 acres of private land that we lease. But effectively, if I understand it correctly, we're going to be completely shut down from dog hunting because we will not be able to go on our Weyerhaeuser properties in pursuit of our dogs, and so effectively we're going to be shut out from dog hunting. The economic impact to Lincoln Parish alone is sizable. We keep roughly 200 dogs at Big 3, and those dogs have to be fed year round, and it figures out to about $250 per head per dog. And so there's going to be an economic impact, there's going to be loss of membership, and ultimately I feel loss of hunting license sold by the state, because in our club alone it appears that probably 15% of our membership, which is 69, has already announced that they will quit hunting. And so if you multiply that by, according to Weyerhaeuser statistics, there's 124 clubs affected by this ruling. But beyond that, we have strived to be a good steward of the land. We have strived to have good relationships with our neighbors. There have been instances where there were, disagreements, but we've always seemed to have worked them out, and we were never contacted. We were never brought in. We were never talked to. We received an impromptu letter from Weyerhaeuser saying that dog hunting would be a thing of the past after this upcoming season. Whereas 2014, 2015 deer season would be the last year to run hounds. But then along comes the letter that, as I understand it, affects all hunting with dogs. And I don't think there's any way that it can be construed to not say that.
And that's like we read the letters last week, and I think we actually have the letters here today that we'll actually go over again. But in my mind, does Weyerhaeuser not realize the impact on the economy that this is going to have? Because like I said last week, not only is it going to be people going to these local stores and buying dog food, buying gas to put in their vehicle, buying hunting license, as you said, and it goes on, taxidermy, food processors. The economic impact is going to be literally a punch in the gut, and I don't think they've thought this through clearly. And when we try to contact them and ask them, hey, give us some rhyme and reason, come talk to us about this, and they declined our interview on a couple of occasions. Why not, like Mr. Don was saying earlier, why not have got together with all the presidents? Why not have sat down and talk to us and let us know your reason and hear our reason? Let's come to some sort of understanding with this instead of just saying this is the way it's going to be, because you don't realize how much it's going to snowball and what's going to happen.
Well, I agree, with that, and I really disagree with the way Weyerhaeuser handled this by just sending the letter out totally unannounced, unexpected, and because they could, because they are the private landowner, and no one disagrees or no one is fearful of respecting private property rights. I think all good sportsmen recognize private property rights, and we work to have goodwill with private landowners. But when you're a landowner the size of Weyerhaeuser, you move into a state like Louisiana and have such a footprint in so many communities and so many families with a policy like this, because you had a legal right to make that decision doesn't make it the right thing to do from a humanistic standpoint. Deer hunting with dogs is a family tradition. It's a cultural thing. It's part of the heritage of Louisiana. As Mike Martin said earlier this afternoon, Lincoln Parish was probably the fox hunting capital of Louisiana at one time. And people can remember their dads, their granddads, their uncles owning fox dogs, because that was a way of recreation. That has evolved and become a family thing. Whole families look forward to deer hunting with dogs from one year to the next. 35, 36 days a year. They maintain these packs of hounds all year just to get their families out there to the camps and have that time together. And just because someone in the company says, well, we don't like dogs anymore out here, doesn't necessarily make it morally or ethically right to just impose that kind of policy on the people of this part of the state.
And you're listening to Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors on Z107.5. If you have any questions or there's anything you would like to ask, go to Southern Outdoors Radio Facebook page, shoot us a message or post a question on our Facebook page, and we'll get it answered for you. Right now, we're going to take you to your Good Things Fishing Report, and we will be back with more after this.
At Hickson Ford, we have upfront pricing. Upfront pricing means our low prices are right on the windshield.
My name's Philip. I'm from West Monroe, Louisiana. I was at another Ford dealership about to sign the papers when a phone call came, and one of my buddies said, man, go try Hickson Ford in Monroe, Louisiana. It worked out perfect. I thought I was a Chevy guy, but now I'm on Ford number 2, and I ain't never going back. It's got the power, it's got the room, and that sucker hauls. Hickson has it.
On the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoor Show, it's time now for the Fishing Report, brought to you by Good Things in West Monroe.
Good Things of West Monroe has that one-of-a-kind gift, whether you're looking for rustic, hunting, or western decor. Good Things also carry concealed carry purses by Montana, as well as western and blingy ones too, dresses and wild-colored leggings, and contour tees. Good Things also has Mexican pottery and outdoor decor, just in time for spring and summer. Good Things, 3001 Cypress Street, West Monroe, or on Facebook at Good Things Gifts.
Welcome to Southern Outdoors Fishing Report, brought to you by Good Things. Largemouth bass tips for current conditions. 77 degrees is the largemouth bass prime temperature range, and fishing should be good right now. Bait fish is much more active in this water temperature, and the largemouth bass will be feeding aggressively throughout the day. This is a great time of year to be on the water. Crappie tip for current conditions. Crappie prefer this water temperature and will be actively feeding and staying in solid patterns. Bait fish is more active and schooling in all parts of the lake in this water temperature. Catfish tips for current conditions. The entire catfish family is very active and actively feeding in this water temperature. All catfish, including blue catfish, flathead, and channel cats, will be looking for the next meal. It's a perfect time to get on the water and fill the freezer. Good luck out there.
Let's get back to more on the outdoors way of life with the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Show on Z107.5.
And welcome back. I'm Brandy Watson. Don't forget, download the Red Peach Radio app on your Android or iPhone. Listen to us free anywhere in the world. I know we actually got listeners from Florida right now. We want to thank you for tuning in. We also want to thank Nomi's Pawn and Gun, one of our fine sponsors of the Tech Tip. We also want to thank Good Things at 3001 Cypress Street, West Monroe. They have all good things. Now let's get back to talking more about running dogs on Weyerhaeuser property.
Yeah, like Mr. Don was saying, dog running and dog hunting, any type, has been a tradition for the state of Louisiana for many years. I got a real good friend of mine. He really enjoys steel hunting. He dog hunts a little bit, but he likes steel hunting the most. But he's got a 6-year-old son who can't sit still in a stand long enough to hunt with him, but he can take his son running dogs and get in the truck and then get out there and get in the woods and get in front of the dogs and listen to them dogs racing. His son loves that. So the only reason he joins a club that actually runs deer dogs is so he can take his son at this time, until he gets big enough to be able to sit patiently in a deer stand. So there's a lot of things that's going to be affected by, eliminating the dog hunting on Weyerhaeuser property. I mean, from like you said, loss of memberships. Some hunters, that's all they do. That's all they care about is dog hunting with deer hunting with dogs, and you take that away from them, and they're not going to hunt no more. Well, if they're not going to hunt no more, they're not going to buy a license. They're not going to be buying feed for their dogs. They're not going to be spending their money in the local stores, the quick stops, buying gas and snacks and what have you to do their hunting. So that community is going to lose that. But most of all, I mean, the economic impact for the communities is big, but the biggest impact is the impact on us as hunters, our heritage, the way we've done things as long as we can all remember.
And that's like another thing we were talking about earlier. John and I were, we're talking, and if y'all remember I think it was last year, John, that they did a fundraiser for his son Stetson, out at Sand Hill, Sugar Creek. They actually did the fundraiser, running dogs, and they're people, hunters go out and put on these fundraisers to help kids with special needs, like my little sister in the hog band and John and his son. And, there's things that it goes so much farther and so much deeper than just some wall that Weyerhaeusers want to throw out and they're not thinking it through.
And that's, the biggest thing trying to get across there is that is the community of hunters. That's the family of hunters. They come together in times of need when people need things like that. And if you take that part of it away, then that hunt couldn't have been done for John and his son Stetson, or for any other that they've had, dog hunts like that for fundraisers for people. But I mean, that's what our hunting family is about. We always come together, and when someone's in need, some of our hunting families in need, we always come together and do what we can to help out. And that's what we're trying to do now, is all come together and fight this letter, this announcement by Weyerhaeuser, and try to keep, deer dog hunting alive.
Sure. And the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Department and Fisheries Commission, they're supported by the sales of hunting licenses. That's what pays the bills down there. And for the longest now, they've been saying that there is a downward trend in hunting licenses. And when you lose hunters like the dog deer hunters, it's not just this generation of hunters that you're going to lose. You're going to lose the next generations to follow, because they've come up in this tradition, hunting here in Louisiana, in this part of the state, and they don't know any other way. Some of them will try to take up something else because they are hunters, but there's going to be a lot of them that will not be back. And I think because hunters support conservation, and Mike, you talked about your club trying to devote resources, time and money into maintaining roads and gates and other things, and other hunting clubs do the same thing, because certainly they don't want to foul their nest. But they do this because of the love of the sport. And I think that that's a benefit to Weyerhaeuser that they may not have looked at as well is the goodwill for the generations that are to follow, and also the added benefits to them to have their environment, their habitat, their roads, and all of that protected and secured by the hunting clubs that's out there. And that it's just like they have not thought about that and given good benefit to the hunting community that's doing that.
Well, in this past year, Big Three Hunting Club appropriated $2,500 on strictly road repair. We had a meeting prior to this announcement for this year, and we had appropriated $2,000 to $2,500. But the sad thing, Don, is this. The three roads that were of main concern, and they were rutted up, they were tore up, it was an extremely wet year. Those roads had been there 30 years and had never had a problem with those roads. You know, we'd have a mud hole here, there, and yonder, but as far as the total road, it was a good usable road. In the summer, you could travel it in a car. But they harvested timber and knocked the bottom out of the roads with the log trucks coming out with 80 or 90,000 pounds. And I understand that's what they're in the business for, is to harvest timber, grow and harvest timber. But on the other hand, don't turn around and blame us and use that for a reason to stop dog hunting. And the other thing, over the last few years, as president of Big Three, I get most of these calls when there is an issue. And when I'm speaking issue, I'm talking about a complaint to Weyerhaeuser. The Deer Club, the Dog Club, is guilty and never gets a chance to even tell their side of the story. In our particular case, we've had 3 complaints in 3 years by the same person. When we boiled it down and finally we tried to even lease land in that area on our side of the road to do away with it. Well, when you boiled it down, they were calling and complaining because we were using a parish road. We were up and down that road, which was interfering with their hunt. I wasn't aware that dog hunters didn't have the right to use a parish road.
It is called a parish road. Yeah, parish roads are public. You know, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. I mean, I'm telling it like it is here, you know. So it's just, it's kind of insanity. And where's it going to stop? Because if it starts here, then it's, like I said, it's going to be the snowball effect. And like he was saying, we got these conflicting letters, one saying, you know, it's deer, you know, at the end of the 2014, 2015, there will be no more running of deer dogs. And then there's another letter coming behind it, you know, testifying that it's eventually going to be no dogs at all. So, I mean, it goes, like Mr. Dahl was saying, coon hunting, hog hunting, rabbit hunting. I mean, where is this going to stop? And if we don't do something now, it's going to be bad. And like I was talking about, you know, we've always said, get your kids involved. Get your kids out there, start them at a young age. And like Todd was saying, the little boy who can't sit still in a deer stand. I don't know many kids that can sit still in a deer stand. But the running of the dogs is something for him to do. Let's face it. Like I posted on Facebook a couple of days ago. Memories are not made in front of playing video games. Get your kids out there. Get them involved. And this is going to hurt that heritage and that way of life.
Well, this whole policy thing that is formulated in the letter from Weyerhaeuser, as best we can tell, and when I say we, I'm talking about Louisiana Sportsmen's Alliance, this is the only place in the whole United States that this is happening right now. The only place on Weyerhaeuser land. And I don't know whether this is a test for the corporation or not. And certainly, again, they are private property rights, private property owners, and they've got property rights that we all respect. But we want to make sure that our traditions and our culture and our heritage for sportsmen are protected in Louisiana. And when I say that, when you look at the season starts October 1 each year with bow season, exclusively for bow hunters. Shortly after that, there's muzzleloader season. Bow hunters and muzzleloader folks can hunt. Nobody else. And then there is still season with the gun hunters, the muzzle loaders, and the bow hunters. They can all hunt. They've been hunting now since October 1st. Then it eventually gets down to the last 35 days of the season, which is dog hunters. The dog hunters are not out there exclusively. The still hunters of any sort can continue to hunt, and do. So it's not like the dog hunters are displacing anybody else in the woods at the time to hunt. It just appears that this is really an ill-conceived idea to remove dog hunters from the landscape out here in the part of the state where dog hunting has been so important for so many generations, and will continue to be so if we've got sympathetic landowners and businesses. And there's going to be a lot more people affected by this policy than the hunters. Business owners, people that are selling pickups, that are selling tires, they may not even be hunters, they'll be affected. People that sell gasoline, run the little convenience stores and sell breakfast every morning. Hunting season is a big, big impact, a seasonal economic impact in this area. You're not going to see that anymore. You're going to see that seasonal impact cut into the income and the business of all these little subsidiary things that support deer hunting and dog hunting. And I don't think that people have really thought about that.
And one of my questions to Weyerhaeuser, and if there's anybody out there Weyerhaeuser listen, being here in Louisiana, and y'all come here with this company, Louisiana is literally sportsman's paradise. Enough said right there. I mean, and you're trying to slowly take things away. Louisiana is literally sportsman's paradise. Whether it's from fishing to hunting to running dogs to whatever. But you're listening to Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors on Z107.5. We're going to take you to your Dan Lord Plumbing Archery Talk. And then we're going to take you to your Southern Outdoors Bible verse. And we'll be back with more after this.
At Hickson Ford, we have upfront pricing. Upfront pricing means our low prices are right on the windshield.
My name's Philip. I'm from West Monroe, Louisiana. I was at another Ford dealership about to sign the papers when a phone call came, and one of my buddies said, "Man, go try Hickson Ford in Monroe, Louisiana." It worked out perfect. I thought I was a Chevy guy, but now I'm on Ford number 2, and I ain't never going back. It's got the power, it's got the room, and that sucker hauls. Hickson has it.
On the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoor Show, it's time now for your archery talk.
Dan Lord Plumbing, LLC, the place for all your plumbing needs, from big to small. Dan Lord Plumbing puts in septic tanks, treatment plants for residential and commercial, and even new construction. Dan Lord Plumbing has a camera and jetter service and can locate utilities. Dan Lord Plumbing, LLC. Don't go to sleep with a leak.
Welcome to Southern Outdoors Archery Talk, brought to you by Dan Lord Plumbing, where you can get all of your plumbing needs. Don't go to sleep with a leak. This past weekend, Tupau Bowman held their last Needle archery shoot for the season, and it was the last shoot to count for Shoot of the Year before the Needle Championship shoot and banquet on June 21st. It is sure to be a close race in a few of the classes. Here's how the shooters stacked up this weekend. Michael Walton, Pee Wee class, 202 with first. Hunter Singleton, 194 with second. Jackson Lowry, 182 with third. Cubs class, Kyle Belmont with 184 for first. Brendan Gordon, 178 for second. And Damian Goodry with a 153 for third. Youth class, Devin Rowland with a 204 for first, and Tyler Leonard with a 155 for second. Youth traditional, Ellie Hodge with a 132 for first. Traditional class, David Calloway, 197 for first, David Taylor, 196 for second, and Roger Brigsley with a 177 for third. Advanced traditional, Mike Simmons, 187 for first, Anthony Denton, 178 for second, and Cookie Rhodes with a 165 bringing in third. Women's bowhunter class, Nikki Hall with a 214 for first, Kim Worthy with a 208 for second, and Nancy Goodry with a 191 for third. Women's open class, Tori Sims with a 191 for first, Rebecca Bellman with a 188 for second, Kim Gordon with a 176 bringing up third. Novice class, Stacy Leonard with a 184 for first, and Mike Carroll with a 171 for second. Bowhunter class, Jared Fallon, 202 for first, Alan Stevenson, 198 for second, and Mark Rogers with a 186 for third. Bowhunter Outlaw, Mitch Worthy, 199 for first, Terry Lowry, 174 for second, and Chris Goodry with a 170 for third. Open class, Lincoln Hall with a 206 for first, Jonathan Wright with a 202 for second, and Kendall Strasner with a 185 bringing in third. Senior Open, Marcelo Ronquillo, 198 for first, and Billy Evans with a 197 for second. In the pro class, Jason Daniels, 214 for first, Robbie Walton, 206 for second, and Keith Pilot with a 187 for third. This coming weekend, Bastrop Bowhunters will hold a championship warm-up shoot with a 30-target course, and this shoot does not count towards Shoot of the Year. So y'all go out and support this event and get some practice in for the 2014 NELA Championship Shoot and Banquet.
Well, the good book says it, so I know it's true. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You better watch where you go and remember where you've been. That's the way I see it, I'm a simple man.
This is the Bible verse on the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Show.
On your Southern Outdoors Bible verse today, we go to John 21, verse 6. And he said to them, "Cast the net on the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they cast, and now they were not able to draw it in because of the multitude of fish. Sometimes in life we need to stop and listen to God. He often wants us to adjust our routines to be more in line with His plans for us. Sometimes if we just stop and we listen to God and we follow His direction, things will turn out so much better for us. Just like the tired fishermen when they drew in the multitude of fish. Listening and following God's directions always has its rewards. And this has been your Southern Outdoors Bible verse. That's John 21, verse 6.
Now back to the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Show on Z107.5. It's not just hunting, it's a way of life.
And welcome back to Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors on Z107.5. I'm your host, Brandy Watson. Download the Red Peach Radio app free on your Android or iPhone, or go to Z1075FM.com. Listen to us and watch us live. And also, don't forget to go to Southern Outdoors Radio Facebook page. Send us a message. You got a question, you got a comment, you got something you want to find out, go to Southern Outdoors Radio Facebook. Shoot us your question, and we'll get back to you with an answer. And like I said, we're talking about Weyerhaeuser and running dogs. So, Mr. Don and Mr. Mike, y'all got the floor.
Well, ultimately, we would like for Weyerhaeuser to come to the table and at least talk to us. When this all came up, the hunting groups were not organized other than their individual hunting groups, and that's how that we became involved with Don and his group, Louisiana Sportsman's Alliance, and it's been a good thing. Don and his group had the infrastructure They knew some ins and outs of what we needed to try to do to impress upon Weyerhaeuser that this was affecting a lot of people, and a lot of these rural communities live and die by hunting. The stores, you can go by them this time of year and there'll be 2 or 3 cars there. You go by there during dog season, there'll be 40 trucks there waiting in line to get gas. And I don't think any of that was taken into consideration at all. It was just an arbitrary decision made by Weyerhaeuser. Whom within Weyerhaeuser, we can't not get that answer to this point. And we would just like to be able to present our side. Naturally, our side is we love to run deer dogs and hunt with deer dogs. And but with that being said, the rural stores, the rural dog feed stores, all of those people are going to suffer, if not go out of business.
You're exactly right.
That is a large portion of their income base. And like I said, go by those same stores today, there'll be 4 or 5 vehicles there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Go by there the first morning of dog season and there'll be 50 vehicles there. Go right here in Ruston to O'Neill Feed. Just count the trucks that pull in there buying dog feed that have dog crates in the back of them. I mean,
and that's another industry that's going to suffer, is the dog crate industry. And I just had someone message me and they said, Buddy King, Winfield, Louisiana, what about the rabbit hunting? What's Weyerhaeuser going to do about that? And I had somebody listen from Colfax, wants to know what's going on here. What are we going to do about it?
Well, it plainly states in Mr. Weeks' response that rabbit hunting will be a large concern of Weyerhaeuser. Running rabbits and hogs with packs of dogs will be a large concern for Weyerhaeuser. Which, if that plays out like everything else has played out, the rabbit hunters and the hog hunters will be guilty the first time that there's a complaint called in. It's strange. It was not that way years ago with Weyerhaeuser. I used to go over every year in February, late February to early March. I would meet with Weyerhaeuser and we would go over the complaints if we had complaints. Well, they have abandoned that practice, but when I get a call, we're guilty. There's never a question about what happened or whatever. It's we got to do something about that. And I'm not saying that dog hunters are always innocent, but I am saying that the innocent dog hunters should not be punished because of the actions of the ones that are not law-abiding hunters. I believe this. I'm a firm believer in it. Deal with them harshly. Deal with all hunters that do not obey the law and the rules set forth by whatever company that leases the land to them. Deal with them harshly. But do not penalize the people that make every effort to follow the rules. And we need a partner in this deal with Weyerhaeuser. And it just seems like for the last few years, it's all about Weyerhaeuser wants to hear from us in May and June. That's when we have to send them a check. And anything other than that is it seems to be a big inconvenience to them. They don't want to have it. They don't want to deal with it. Like I said, they don't mind, in our case, accepting the $50,000+ a year for our Weyerhaeuser lease. But then beyond that, they don't want to hear a big 3 until next May.
Yeah, and there's a listener who just messaged in and said Weyerhaeuser and Mr. Weeks have used a proven flawed business model by using a Band-Aid policy to address a problem or a concern rather than address those bad apples, as you were talking about, or the people that are out there tearing up that are not doing what they should be as being ethical hunters. And that's, we're trying to let you know that this is just spreading far and wide here. And that's from one of our listeners,
Needs to be a situation where we all know that you can't have a meeting with Weyerhaeuser and have every club member in North Louisiana. You said, what, 120-something clubs?
That was their figure, that there was 124 clubs affected by this ruling.
A meeting of all 126 presidents, along with some representatives from Weyerhaeuser, would turn into total chaos. But if these clubs could get together and form a community, a board, if you will, a committee of all these club presidents, 10 or 12 to go sit down with Weyerhaeuser, if Weyerhaeuser would be willing to sit down and talk about what the true issues are and how that the hunting clubs and Weyerhaeuser can come together to resolve these issues in a way that it don't take away our deer dog running rights.
And you're listening to Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors on Z107.5. When we come back, we're going to take you to the B&L Marine Outdoor Calendar. When we come back, we're going to have another question from another listener that's a concern of the hunters out there.
At Hickson Ford, we have upfront pricing. Upfront pricing means our low prices are right on the windshield.
My name's Philip. I'm from West Monroe, Louisiana. I was at another Ford dealership about to sign the papers when a phone call came, and one of my buddies said, man, go try Hickson Ford in Monroe, Louisiana. It worked out perfect. I thought I was a Chevy guy, but now I'm on Ford number 2, and I ain't never going back. It's got the power, it's got the room, and that sucker hauls. Hickson has it.
On the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoor Show, now it's time for the Outdoor Calendar, brought to you by B&L Marine. Ready to hit the water? Need that perfect boat? Well, B&L Marine in Monroe has you covered. Check out the Express Striker 17-foot bass boat with 40 Yamaha outboard and trolling motor, dip finder, and trailer. Or the Express High Performance Crappie boat with front and rear live wells and a 90-horsepower Yamaha outboard. B&L Marine has high-performance bass boats in 17, 18, and 19-foot loaded to your liking. Stop by 110 Old Bastrop Road and check it out at B&L Marine. And look for us on Facebook, too.
Welcome to Southern Outdoors Event Calendar, brought to you by B&L Marine, where you can get all of your boating needs. June 14th, Bastrop Championship warm-up shoot with a 30-target course, which does not count for shoot of the year. June 21st will be the annual NELA Championship shoot and banquet at the Washita Parish Rifle Range. On June 27th and 28th will be the annual Louisiana Peach Festival in Ruston, Louisiana. The Ruston-Lincoln Chamber of Commerce hosts the Louisiana Peach Festival in Ruston's downtown area each year during the 4th weekend of June. The festival, which coincides with the beginning of peach season in Ruston, celebrates Ruston's famed produce crop and is the oldest agricultural festival in Louisiana. Festival goers can indulge in Ruston's famous peach ice cream, peach cobbler, and various other peach delicacies. Peach lovers also have opportunities to participate in the festival's peach eating contest or the peach cookery contest. Additionally, the Louisiana Peach Festival features live music entertainment, an extensive arts and crafts market, and a parade, an antique cart show, fishing tournaments, and more. With events that people of all ages can enjoy, the festival offers a weekend full of family fun. There is an admission fee for anyone over the age of 7. Admission is $10 for Friday and $5 for Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tickets for Saturday evening's music in the Railroad Park are $10, or armbands that cover both Saturday's admission and the evening concert are also available for purchase for $10. Pets other than service dogs are not allowed at the festival. Entertainment schedule: Friday, June 27th at 6:30 p.m., Louisiana Swamp Donkey takes the stage. At 8 p.m., the Molly Ringwalls. On Saturday, June 28th, at 7 p.m., Chubby Carrier and the Bayou Swamp Band takes the stage. At 9 p.m., Dylan Scott. If you have an event you'd like to have added to the outdoor calendar, you can contact us by Facebook message at Southern Outdoors Radio Facebook page or email us at southernoutdoorsradio@yahoo.com.
On the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Show, it's time now for the recipe of the week. Brought to you by Wild Fangs Custom Meats.
Wild Thing Custom Meat serves a unique custom buffalo bacon burger, pork, elk, and buffalo sausage, and their pickles are out of this world. Wild Thing Custom Meats caters festivals, private events, and company gatherings. Wild Thing Custom Meats, where everything is homemade and nothing is out of a box. They also do hog processing. So check them out on Facebook at Wild Thing Custom Meats or stop by 126 Oscar Kilpatrick Road, Taylor. Your Southern Outdoors recipe of the week this week is frog legs in mushroom sauce. You need 6 tablespoons of butter divided, 1 cup of sliced button mushrooms, 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of flour divided, salt and pepper, 12 frog legs, 1.5 cups of chicken broth, and 1 tablespoon of sherry, which is optional. Melt and bring to sizzle 4 tablespoons of butter. Add the mushrooms. Saute both sides until just wilted. Remove and place on a platter. Place 1 cup of flour and salt and pepper to taste in a bag and mix. Add remaining butter to pan. Add frog legs 2 at a time and shake to coat. Saute until brown on all sides. Remove to the platter. Add the remaining flour and chicken broth to the pan. Stir and simmer until smooth, and add the sherry if desired. And this serves 6. This is your, so good, Southern Outdoors recipe of the week.
Let's get back to more on the outdoors way of life with the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Show on Z107.5.
And welcome back. We want to take this time to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Good Things over on 3001 Cypress Street in West Monroe. We also want to thank Dan Lord's Plumbing. Don't go to sleep with a leak. Also, B&L Marine. If you need something for your boat, get out there on the water this summer, go over there and see B&L Marine. And also, Wild Thing Custom Meats with the award-winning jalapeno poppers and a buffalo burger that will literally make your tongue slap your brains out. It is good. So, we want to thank all of our sponsors. And as I was telling you before I went to break, we also have another listener from Simsboro said, what's going to happen to people that live close to Weyerhaeuser land and their dogs, their house dogs or their dogs go out onto the Weyerhaeuser land and tree a squirrel or run any animals out there? Thanks. And that's another concern. What if you do have land that butts up to Weyerhaeuser? I mean, what's going to happen? Weyerhaeuser, we need some answers. We want some answers. Just sit down and talk to us. That's all we're asking.
Let me just kind of respond to that in a different way about what's happening on the National Forest down in central Louisiana. They have eliminated dog deer hunting, and they have, for all intents and purposes, eliminated hog hunting with dogs. And now the people that are living on the outer edges of the forest, their agriculture land, their pasture land, their crop land, or whatever, is being torn up by hogs because, in effect, the forest land the national forest land now has become a refuge for the hogs. You go out there and you try to get after the hogs on the private property, first place they go is right back home on the national forest. I think you're going to see that here on Weyerhaeuser land, and all of the people that have land within Weyerhaeuser Holdings or adjacent to Weyerhaeuser Holdings are going to see a bigger and bigger influx of hogs and damage from hogs on their property, and there's not going to be much you can do about it if you can't get after them with dogs.
That's exactly right, and hogs, they multiply. Like John was saying, a sow hog can throw 3 litters a year, and have anywhere from 10 to 15 out of that. And say half of them's boars, another half is sows. Well, when they're 3 months old, they can start breeding, and then they're throwing 3 litters a year. I mean, it's crazy how the hogs can multiply. But with the deer dog running issue that we're really talking about, if it goes from okay, we're taking your deer dog running rights away, then I'm going to take your hog dog rights away. We're going to take your rabbit dog. It's just going to keep on going until you get to that point where the hogs they're already tearing up people's property as it is. There's not enough hog hunters out there right now to keep them contained, but it just needs to be handled in a better way than just send out a letter. This is what we're going to do. Let's sit down together and let's all talk about it and come to a solution that will work for both Weyerhaeuser and both the dog running clubs, and so we can continue on with our dog running heritage. That to me, that is would be the most neighborly thing to do. Whether we can get that to happen or not, I don't know.
I think, and I really hate to say this, but I think, they are not even considering neighborly at all, and aren't being community friendly, but we're still trying to come to them and even get a response from them is like pulling teeth. But I mean, I just, in my mind, I don't understand why they haven't thought of the economic impact, and our representatives and legislators, you know, to get them, let them know, do you realize the economic impact that this is going to have on the state of Louisiana? I mean, it's just,
that's a really good point, Brandy. Weyerhaeuser is big business and has a big impact in the state. Hires lots of people, produces lots of product, makes lots of sales. But this one little decision by one person, apparently, to do away with something that has been so long a tradition here is going to have a tremendous impact on small businesses, mom and pop businesses throughout this whole area. We've got lots of people that migrate up here into this area of the state from South Louisiana to participate in deer dog hunting because they don't have that down there. They don't have the opportunity to hear deer races down there and hunt deer with dogs. So they come up here. They rely on the little mom and pop operations, the restaurants, the convenience stores, the little gas stations, the tire companies, the mechanics, and everything that goes with it, the dog food companies and the feed stores, and on, the veterinary clinics. These are all small businesses that benefit from this. And I just have to believe any professional person in a corporation the size of Weyerhaeuser would think about those kinds of impacts on the community before they do something. It just doesn't make sense to not be community friendly.
No, it doesn't to me either. I can't fathom it. And you know, they're sitting here wanting to, you know, do what they're doing, but these people, you know, you start closing these mom and pop stores, and you start, you know, everything that affects all these deer hunters. Well, you know, these mom and pop stores are also, some of the people that own these stores are also the same people that are leasing that Weyerhaeuser land from you. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot here. Think about it. You know, it's a circle of life. I mean, think about what you're doing. I mean, that's just the way I'm looking at it. You know, I mean, that's the way anybody would look at it if you sat down and you actually use your, you know, gourd a little bit.
Well, the Louisiana Sportsmen's Alliance has certainly expanded into this area to address particularly this issue now with the hunting clubs and with Weyerhaeuser, to sit down as adults, as people that are concerned about the resource out here, whether it's a timber resource, the habitat, or whatever, and also the lifestyle of the people, to work out a solution to this where we are not going to lose this form of hunting, and at the same time address those things that seem to be bothering Weyerhaeuser. We'd love to be able to do that. I think we can do it before the next hunting season rolls around, if they are willing to do that. And I think we can give them that challenge today is, let's get together. We'll go at your speed. We'll meet as soon as you want to meet. I don't know, Mike, you and the other hunting clubs can probably add to that.
Well, there's no doubt. We're willing and open to anything. Ultimately, we would like for Weyerhaeuser's decision to be rescinded, but we're willing to work with Weyerhaeuser. And but like I said, we received a letter out of the blue alerting us to the fact that this would be the last year. With that said, there was no visiting, and we had no input, in other words. And all I would ask Weyerhaeuser to do, if all these complaints and all this damage is legitimate and not an excuse, to make the decision they have made, deal with those clubs and those people. Do not take our heritage and what we love to do with our families away from everyone because of a few bad apples. You do not throw out the whole basket. You get the rotten apple out.
Exactly.
And that's all that I would ask them. But to this point, they certainly have not taken that approach.
Exactly. But we want to thank all of our listeners out there tonight. If you have any suggestions or if there's anything that you would like to hear, you can email us at southernoutdoorsradio@yahoo.com. You can shoot us an email or a message on our Southern Outdoors Radio Facebook page. Mr. Don, we want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Mike, we want to thank you for being here. And this isn't the end. You have not heard the end of this. I'm sure we'll have these great gentlemen back on with us talking more about this. And Weyerhaeuser, we would like to speak with y'all. And like I said, if there's anything you would like to hear, shoot us an email. We want to thank all of our listeners out there, everybody from Canada to Costa Rica. We want to thank our listeners in Winfield, Colfax, Pineville, Hesmer, Bunkie, all over the state of Louisiana. Remember, I'm Brandy Watson. Got Todd Causey. It's not just hunting.
It's a way of life.
Listen every Tuesday at 6 p.m. for the Hickson Ford Southern Outdoors Show with Brandy Watson and Todd Causey. Check out the website for southernoutdoorsradio.com. Come on back next week at 6 p.m. for Hickson Ford's Southern Outdoors on Big Z Country, Z107.5.